Welcome to this presentation, Think, Plan, Do, Successful Thinking Frameworks and Tools. Part 2, Tools. We're going to cover the tools used in successful thinking. The tools that we'll include in this particular presentation include the following. Think big, be true to thyself, the switch, different opinions, yours, mine, and the right one, spend time with like-minded people, and invest in appreciating assets. There is a book called The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartzer, written in probably the 1950s. It covered the topic of thinking big really well. It is one of my favorite books of all time. The problem that we face in today's society is that we are not given permission to think big. We are not encouraged to aim for the stars. For some people, it is not a matter of thinking big, but a matter of thinking at all. So the first question we need to ask ourselves is, do we have a goal? Do we have a purpose in life? For some people, they live from day to day. For others, they have some short-term small goals. And for others still, they have big dreams but never seem to be able to achieve any. Think Big basically asks you this question: how far do you dare to go? Let's look at this from a visual perspective. Now here is your world today, with respect, maybe small. You apply thinking aspects to the successful thinking philosophy, and you may, and I stress may, come up with something interesting. Bold, daring ideas, dreams, maybe a vision. But not everybody thinks about what they like to do with their lives. They're simply busy doing stuff. No real direction. The concept behind thinking and doing is to give you new possibilities, new opportunities to open up your eyes to what may be possible. By adding planning to your thinking and doing, you now have a good chance of actually achieving something a lot bigger than what you thought. Basically, the more you think, the more you plan, and the more you do, the more you can potentially achieve. Now, this is potentially your world tomorrow. And this is potentially what you could be achieving. Let's look at think, plan, do from a different perspective. Often people have difficulty converting their dreams into reality. Here is one way to approach it. First of all, here we see that there is an evolution of an idea. So we start off with a dream. That's something that floats in your mind, and that becomes a vision. Now, vision is something that you can see in your mind, and that becomes a goal, something that has measurable objectives and timeframes, and that becomes your life. You start behaving in a way that allows you to achieve that goal, and then you achieve, which eventually means you achieve your goals. Let's take this one step further and apply the Think, Plan, Do framework to this. In the beginning, when you have a dream and build your vision, you do a lot of thinking. In the middle, as you set your goals, objectives, and timelines, you do a lot of planning. And in the end, as you set out to achieve your goals, you do a lot of doing. The question is, do you ever stop thinking? No, but you focus on your thinking early in the cycle. Do you ever stop planning? Again, no, but you focus on planning after you have some goals in mind. Do you ever stop doing? No, but most of your doing will be after you have your vision and after you have a plan on how to achieve. Now, I came across this tool that I call the switch when I was giving up smoking over 25 years ago. What do I mean by the switch? The switch is basically changing who you are, changing who you think you are. In these examples, if I'm a smoker, I need to change the switch to I am not a smoker. If I'm overweight, the switch will change us to I am thin or I am healthy. If I'm a drinker, I will change this to I do not drink. If I'm a mean person, etc. If I'm not married, etc., etc. So these are the sort of changes we want to make. Unfortunately, in real life, we are often our own worst enemies. We want to achieve things, change things in our lives, but we end up sabotaging ourselves. Why? Because I think there is a disconnect between what we are trying to achieve and what we believe deep down in our subconscious. So, what is a switch? Well, imagine the following. Your subconscious mind, this is what we think we are. Or that's your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind, this is the way we behave. And the real self, this is who we really are. So how do we make the switch? To help you make the switch, here are some helpful approaches. First of all, understand your current position and what it is that you would like to change. Then, picture the new you. You can use creative visualization to do that. Review this picture of the new you in your mind often and create affirmations that will support the new you. Repeat these affirmations to yourself as often as possible. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Be true to thyself. Create good habits. These are all tools that you can use to help you make the switch. And we'll be exploring the ones, especially ones with the asterisks. And finally, successful thinking. This is your journey to actually making the switch. Here's the next tool. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Now, it's easy to think, more difficult to do in real life. People say you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. In this case, you need to identify people you like and that have similar aspirations, goals, and dreams as you. These people will support you, they will encourage you, will want to be with you, will want to help you when you are down and off track. If you don't surround yourself with like-minded people, you may be ridiculed, told to come off your perch, laughed at for daring to dream so big. So when it comes to you and your friends, think about those who are the closest. The final tool in successful thinking is invest in appreciating assets. Imagine this. If you had $10,000 and had a choice to either invest in an interest-bearing account, like a bank, and that's an appreciating asset, or you could buy a car, that's a depreciating asset. In 5 years' time, your car may be worth around $3,000, but your investment may be worth upwards of $15,000. In 10 years' time, your car may be worth very little, but your investment may have appreciated to, say, $23,000. Now, appreciating assets gain value over time. The trick here is to treat yourself like an appreciating asset. And invest in yourself. You will reap the benefits for the rest of your life. We've just covered a lot of material. In part 1, we covered a range of successful thinking frameworks. If you remember, we covered Think, Plan, Do, the Vision, Strength, Reality, Creative Engineering, Life is a bunch of decisions, hard versus difficult versus tough, and your brain's trust. Hopefully you remember some of them. If not, maybe you can review them in part 1. Part 2, the ones we've just covered, we've we've covered a lot of tools. Think big. I actually encourage you to find and read that book, The Magic of Thinking Big. And this will start the process of giving you permission to dream big, to define a lifelong vision that you can set out to achieve. Now, I encourage you to review this presentation a number of times to give you a better understanding of all of the tools that we've covered in part 2 and in part 1, all of the frameworks. And spend some time documenting your thoughts in the program workbooks provided. And in the discussion groups, read what others have to say and contribute your own thoughts on these to help fellow Life Solution community members understand and learn these concepts. Thank you for reaching this far, and I look forward to seeing you at the next topic: successful planning, frameworks and tools. Thank you.